Mother, forgive me. This is the path I chose to help people. Forgive me, Mother. By God, I only took this path to help people. Oh Lord, forgive me. These were the final words of Rifaat Radwan, a young Palestinian paramedic in Gaza. He spoke them while bleeding to death in the back of a clearly marked ambulance encircled by Israeli soldiers under the cold night sky of Rafah. He had gone out that night with his crew to save the wounded. None would return. The Israeli army opened fire without warning. Rifaat and 14 other medics were killed. Their bodies were later unearthed from a shallow grave. Many were bound at the wrists. Most were shot at close range, executed still in uniform, still holding their radios, gloves and medical kits. And still, Israel lied. Its foreign minister told the world the ambulances were unmarked, the medics suspicious, the strike justified. But footage of Rifaat's final moments destroyed the lie. The ambulances were unmistakably marked, lights flashing, medical vests visible, no threat, no crossfire, no ambiguity, only a deliberate, premeditated massacre. And while the world tried to comprehend the horror in Rafah, Benjamin Netanyahu stood in Hungary, celebrated by one of Europe's most far-right governments, flanked by ultra-nationalists, he declared, "This is important for all of us, for all of civilization, as we fight this battle against barbarism. I believe we are fighting for the future of our common civilization, our Judeo-Christian civilization." Civilization. Tell me what civilization buries medics in mass graves? What civilization executes doctors? What civilization starves children, shoots nurses, bombs ambulances, and then dares to call it moral? Since October 2023, over 1,057 medical workers have been killed, 34 from the Palestinian Red Crescent alone, more than 400 humanitarian workers, over 280 UN staff, hospitals destroyed, doctors tortured, nurses shot in the middle of surgeries, and still they kept trying to save lives, even knowing it could cost them their own. Remember Hind Rajab, 6 years old? She survived the bombing that killed her entire family. Trapped in a car, terrified, she called for help. A team of medics rushed to her. They never came back. Hours later, her tiny body was found, riddled with bullets. The medics executed beside her. In Gaza, there are no red lines left. Not for children, not for the wounded, not even for those trying to heal. Palestinian medics say their uniforms no longer protect them. They mark them for death. The red crescent vest, the white coat, the scrubs, once symbols of mercy, now make you a target. One nurse refused to abandon his patient during surgery, even as soldiers stormed the hospital. They shot him in the knee, crushed the bone, dragged him away, tortured him, blinded him, then dumped him by the roadside like trash. Dr. Adnan al-Bursh, Gaza's top orthopedic surgeon, was taken from Ashifa hospital to a military site, a place human rights groups call a black hole of torture. They beat him, raped him, let him die. And when news of his death came out, Israeli lawmakers didn't seek justice. They debated how to honor the killers. This isn't just about bombs. It's about erasure. Destroy the hospitals, kill the doctors, let the wounds fester, let the hunger spread, let thirst choke the children. And if someone dares to help, shoot them too. Because in Gaza, medicine is rebellion, compassion is treason, to heal is to defy a death sentence. Over 55,000 Palestinians have been killed, 1.9 million displaced, many bombed in tents, food gone, fuel gone, water plants destroyed, bakeries reduced to ash, children drinking sewage, eating animal feed, bleeding from wounds no one can treat. This is not war, it is a systematic obliteration of life itself. Jonathan Whittle from the UN called it a war without limits, no law, no line, no decency, and the lie that fuels it has been generations in the making. For decades, the image of the violent Palestinian was broadcast to the world, a modern colonial myth. Israel cast itself as a beacon of democracy, a bastion of civility under siege. Tel Aviv built the story, Washington armed it, London printed it, Hollywood sold it. But it was never true. It was propaganda, polished, rehearsed, weaponized. In Gaza, the illusion has collapsed. The mask has fallen. The narrative has shattered. Even inside Israel, the truth is cracking through. Historian Omar Bartov visited in 2024. He spoke to young soldiers just back from Gaza. They were angry. They wanted more blood. He warned them. This is how it began in 1930s Nazi Germany. A generation raised on humiliation and vengeance. loss. He later wrote, "It is no longer possible to deny Israel is committing war crimes, crimes against humanity and genocide." Another historian, Tom Segev, said, "Maybe the whole Zionist project was a mistake. It doesn't protect Jews. It's safer for Jews to live outside of Israel." This isn't accidental. It isn't a tragic mistake. It is policy. An Israeli commander was filmed ordering his soldiers to shoot anyone they see, child or adult, nurse or patient, kill without hesitation, he said. At the same time, Israel's Supreme Court, supposedly a liberal institution, unanimously upheld the blockade. Not one judge objected. Not one questioned the starvation of 2 million people, half of them children. This isn't just Netanyahu, not just his fascist ministers, not just rogue commanders. It's the army, the courts, the state itself, every pillar aligned in the machinery of extermination. This is what Zionism has built, a regime that executes medics, buries doctors in mass graves, shoots children, and calls it civilization. But even in that darkness, Rifaat Radwan rose. He didn't call for revenge. He called for his mother. He asked for forgiveness. He affirmed his choice to heal, not to harm. Even as his life slipped away, he bore witness. There were no journalists, no international observers. He was the testimony. He knew the playbook: kill, lie, spin, repeat. But he refused to be erased. With his last breath, he told the truth. They tossed his body into a pit, but they couldn't bury his voice. That voice broke through the lies. It rose above the silence. It cut through the propaganda. His name, Rifaat, comes from the Arabic root rafa'a and irtafa'a, to lift, to elevate, to rise. And rise he did. He rose from the blood-soaked floor of that ambulance. He rose from the shallow grave they threw him into. He rose above the bullets, above the silence, above the lie. They killed the medic, but not the witness. They buried the body, but not the truth. He became more than a man, more than a name. He became proof that even mercy is now a crime, that to heal in Gaza is to be marked for death. Proof that genocide doesn't hide, it declares itself. And to the world that watched, that weighed lives like numbers, that whispered neutrality in the face of massacre, Rifaat leaves no room for excuses. He is the voice that pierces the silence, the evidence that cannot be erased, the memory that cannot be buried. And he says, "You saw me, you heard me, you knew. So don't say history will judge. You are history, and your silence is its verdict." Rifaat Radwan from Rafa'a, he who rises, and rise he did. He rose from the grave to speak. He rose so the lie could not live. He rose so the world could never again say, "We did not know."